Welcome to Westwood, and may the 4th be with you. As Canadian Unitarian Universalists, one of our aspirations is to strive to work joyfully for a just and compassionate society, experimenting with new forms of community. In this service, we will explore what our active engagement with joy can teach us and how we can cultivate joy that will guide and fuel us in creating the communities and world we seek. As we begin, we pause to remember that the land where we gather has borne witness to thousands of years of Indigenous history, culture, and spirituality, and continues to do so, providing a rich and fertile context for us as we gather here at Westwood. Today's service is about joy, and Indigenous people have participated in joyous and boisterous celebrations for centuries. And as Lorian mentioned, the Ben Calf Rope Society is offering a powwow next Saturday, and everyone is invited. And that means everyone here. So please consider taking advantage of the hospitality of the Ben Calf Rope Society next Saturday at 1 o'clock. Good morning and welcome to Westwood Unitarian Congregation, those joining us on Zoom, and those here in the building. This is one of many Unitarian Universalist communities across the continent and around the world. We are a community of individuals on unique spiritual journeys. We welcome all persons of goodwill, whatever their culture, color, class, religion, gender, wealth, or the direction of their affections. To visitors and newcomers, we offer special greetings. We are honored that you found us. In the words of John Higgins, this is a home where no revealed truths are promoted and no scripture or human being accepted as infallible. This is a place for searching for truth, but we are believers. We believe in intellectual freedom. We believe in justice. We believe in compassion and concern for each other and the whole world. We believe in commitment to those ideals which make us caring and active in the struggles for human dignity. We are Unitarian Universalists. My name is Rebecca Patterson. My pronouns are she and her. I am your service leader. This service is the final part of this year's meaning-making series. We are one of 15 Canadian Unitarian Universalist congregations who are sharing resources to create the 8-part series on the roots of resilience. The service and the reflection today were created by the Reverend Arran Morton. Our musician this morning is the wonderful Carrie Day, and her beautiful prelude went so well with these delicate roses. It was gorgeous. David is our very much appreciated coffee host, and he would love some help. He would appreciate some help after the service cleaning up. And our tech team, it consists of Hannah and Lorian, and Bill is our Zoom host. Bill is going to be reading our words for the chalice lighting. So I'll tell you when, Bill. Oh, Anytime.
Chalice lighting by Arran Morton. Now we will light the chalice as a symbol of our shared faith. May this light remind us of our interdependence, knowing that we are deeply connected with each other and all life around us. May it embolden us with the courage to act against injustice and inequity in all its forms, wherever we find it, knowing our interdependence calls us to love and justice. May it inspire us to find joy in each other and our shared work to create a radically inclusive, just, and compassionate society. May it be so.
Thank you, Bill. Our opening song is I've Got Peace Like a River, and you are invited to rise in body or in spirit to join in singing. Sounds good. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my I'm not sure what happened to 4 and 5, but that's okay. All right, we have a story for all ages, which is a read aloud from YouTube chosen by Arran Morton.
Written by Corinne Avarice, illustrated by Isabel Folleth. Fern loved Nana. She loved her butterfly cakes, her mantelpiece mice, and her cat, Snowball. Most of all, she loved her smile. But recently, Nana had stopped baking cakes. The mice were dusty, and Snowball was more like a ball of fuzz. Worst of all, Nana hardly ever smiled. "What's wrong with Nana?" Fern asked her mother. "I don't know," Mom replied. "It's like the joy has gone out of her life." "What's joy?" asked Fern. "Joy is what makes your heart happy and your eyes twinkle. Like when we all dance after dinner, or when I get the giggles with Ernie, or when I go whooshing down a slide." "Yes, a great big whoosh," said Mom. Nana deserved some whoosh, thought Fern. And if the joy had gone out of Nana's life, then she would bring it back. But where would Fern find it? And how would she carry it to Nana? She searched the house for a catching kit, a can, a paper bag, a saucepan, a box with no lid, a lid with no box, a fishing net, and a pointy stick. Into Fern's catching bag it all went. That afternoon, Fern and her mother set off for the park. There would be plenty of joy there. No one would mind if she borrowed some for Nana. A puppy bounded toward Fern, its floppy ears flying up and down. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Fern giggled. She felt that whoosh of joy. She tried to catch the bounce, but the bounce wouldn't go in the box. On the swing, a baby chuckled each time her daddy tickled her feet. Tickle, tickle, chuckle, chuckle. Fern chuckled too. She felt the whoosh of joy. She tried to catch the chuckles, and then she tried to catch the tickles. But neither the chuckles nor the tickles would go in the can. When Fern reached the duck pond, a shimmer of sun sparkles rippled across the water. Fern smiled. She felt the whoosh of joy. Nana would love this, she thought. She tried to catch the sparkles, first with her fishing net, and then with her paper bag, and finally with a scoop from her saucepan. But the sparkles just disappeared. Finding joy was easy, but catching it was hard. Fern walked home with heavy feet. She loved Nana and wanted to bring joy back into her life. But her catching bag was empty. Nana was snoozing in her chair. Fern laid her head on her arm. "What's the matter?" asked Nana. "I wanted to catch some joy for you, but couldn't," said Fern sadly. Fern told Nana about all the things she had seen. To Fern's surprise, Nana smiled. It was the biggest, widest whoosh of a smile Fern had ever seen. "You don't need a can or a box or a net to bring me joy," Nana said. "You bring me all the joy in the world just by being you." The next day, Fern took Nana to the park. Whoosh! Together, they found joy in the most unusual places. And this time, Fern's catching bag was full to the brim with Nana's delicious butterfly cakes. The end.
We have a reading now, and Jen Pollock is going to read it for us.
This reading is by Christina Rivera from the lead ministry team of the Church of the Larger Fellowship. Joy is not a luxury, it's a practice. In a world heavy with pain and injustice, joy is a flash of resistance, a holy spark that keeps us tethered to hope. It shows up in the small things: laughter shared with a beloved, a moment of ease, the rhythm of a favorite hymn. Joy doesn't mean forgetting what's broken. It means remembering what's beautiful. It reminds us we are alive, connected, and capable of delight, even as we fight for liberation. So find your joy today. Let it nourish your soul, and then share it, because joy multiplies in community.
Thank you, Jen. The lighting of candles of concern and celebration is a cherished tradition in many Unitarian Universalist congregations. It allows us to understand each other's worlds a little better enabling us to be a true community. You may share with the congregation your joy or concern, or you may choose to light a candle in silence. I invite you now to light candles of concern or celebration. For you on Zoom, I would be happy to light a candle for you. Just raise your hand if you'd like to speak. I light one final candle for all those joys and concerns that remain in our hearts. Could you please join me for the affirmation? May the light of these candles inspire us to use our power to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to serve the spirit of truth in loving affection and trusting hope. Our offerings of money and volunteer service are the essential elements that sustain our congregation and this place. Some donate on Sundays, others on a monthly basis. Please be aware that if you're donating cash today and would like a tax receipt, we ask that you use an envelope, and you can find those in the back of the chairs. So our church administrator Elaine can issue you one. And if you would like to donate online, the information's on the slide here. So please join me for our offering song. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. And now we're going to sing, as we sing of hope and joy today. A few months ago, we attempted to sing this song, and we realized that we didn't know it. And so we get another crack at it today. If you would like a hymn book with the words, it's 1060. Not the words, with the notes, I mean. And otherwise, Carrie's going to play it through for us. And I think maybe we'll just sing it on Lulu to get used to the tune before we launch into the words. So go ahead, Carrie.
Will you sing Lulu while I play this first time?
No, we'll sing Lulu the second time.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. Lulu. Reverend Arran Morton, he, they, currently lives in St. John, New Brunswick, though he's from Scotland and moved from the West Coast, Victoria, BC, to the East Coast this summer via a cross-country road trip with his family. His work has focused on love-based community building, as well as training and facilitation on issues related to healthy relationships, sexuality, conflict resolution, and restorative justice practices. Before moving to St. John, Arron was the minister at Comox Valley Unitarian Fellowship for 2 years, and before that, the director of spiritual exploration at First Unitarian Church in Victoria. He is currently a spiritual director and part-time executive director of a small nonprofit that supports trans and non-binary youth and their families.
Well, little did I know when we planned this series late last summer just how much we'd need a month focused on joy. It feels like so much has changed since then. This year already, we've seen our neighbors to our south initiate tariff wars, rapidly escalating their anti-trans legislation, attempt to shut down multiple government departments, harass and detain immigrants, visitors, and even US citizens, with little regard to law or due process, and even threaten an attempt to take over Canada. In Canada, meanwhile, we've been trying to figure out what all of these changes mean for us, as well as having quite a few of our own, including having a prime minister resign and a new one take office. And as I record this, an election has been called that I don't know the results to, but you will by the time you watch it. Whoever wins this election, we are now and likely for some time going to be trying to figure out who to have healthier trade relationships with in the coming months and years. We're expanding our horizons and seeking to build and strengthen relationships further afield. We Canadians often like to think that we're better than the US. And when it comes to social issues, this is often true, although that feels like a particularly low bar at the minute. At the same time, we're influenced by what happens there, and we're certainly not immune to our own anti-trans legislation or restrictive immigration policies, for example. We've seen plenty of both. Stats Canada reported between 2016 and 2023, police reported hate crimes directed against LGBTQ folks have increased a staggering 388%. With most of that increase happening between 2020 and 2023, when reported attacks rose from 258 to 860. In 2022, the Canadian Labour Congress's National Survey Report on Harassment and Violence in the Workplace found that Indigenous workers, racialized workers, workers with disabilities, and workers who are part of the LGBTQ+ communities are experiencing different forms and higher rates of harassment and violence. For example, 73% of the gender diverse respondents experienced sexual harassment and violence over the last 2 years. And 79% of the Indigenous respondents had experienced harassment and violence. And this is to say nothing of the global context we're in. As I write this, the threat of a world war feels much closer than it did those months ago. Uncomfortably close. With all this going on, along with anything in our personal lives, financial difficulties, deaths, or any of the struggles of love and life that we might be going through, it can be hard to imagine feeling joy. Honestly, it has been for me. Writing this homily at this time has been deeply challenging. I've had to navigate a surprising and deep sadness that came up when I tried to open my heart to the possibility of joy. In writing this, I had to literally practice what I'm preaching in order to get this to you. Many of us feel guilt or shame if we experience joy when we're aware of so much pain. It can feel selfish. Who are we to feel delight in the sighting of a favorite flower or the sunshine in our skin after a long period of rain or cold? Or even to enjoy the videos of cats and puppies doing cute or goofy things on the internet. They might feel like a guilty pleasure, but judging by the vast number available, it's a popular one. This week, there's a video of babies delighting in dogs that's been bringing me a lot of joy. I would argue not only should we reject any shame or guilt in feeling joy, however frivolous it might seem, we need to actively cultivate it in challenging times. I'm reminded of a Buddhist proverb that recommends that you should meditate for an hour every day unless you're really busy. Then you should meditate for 2 hours. In the same way, I think it's always beneficial to cultivate joy. And when our hearts are particularly weighed down by suffering, in periods when oppression and injustice are particularly extreme, it's time to double down in joy. However, opening to joy is not the same as toxic positivity, where we pretend everything is good and ignore or minimize anything challenging. As the Archbishop Desmond Tutu warns us in the Book of Joy, discovering more joy does not, I'm sorry to say, save us from the inevitability of hardship and heartbreak. In fact, we may cry more easily, but we will laugh more easily too. Perhaps we're just more alive. Yet as we discover more joy, we can face suffering in a way that ennobles rather than embitters. We can have hardship without becoming hard. We can have heartbreak without being broken. End quote. Our emotions are interconnected. Restricting one restricts the expression of others, and the more fully we experience one, the more fully we can experience them all. However, there seems to be a particular connection between joy and sorrow. We often see this expressed at funerals, where there's often laughter and joy as well as tears and sadness. And I sure felt it when I sat down to write about joy and found this uprising of sadness. As year use, we show our understanding of the connection between joy and sorrow and our tradition of sharing both in our worship services. While it's not universal, most UU congregations include this ritual at least some of the time, and many every week. In it, we recognize the connection and importance of sharing both within our community. We recognize that sharing sorrow can lighten the burden, and sharing joy can spread it. It's contagious. It multiplies in community, as we heard in the words of Christina Riviera at the beginning of the service. We also recognize that both joy and sorrow are integral to being human. We will all experience both to varying degrees throughout our lifetimes. Experiencing joy can help sustain us, strengthen connections, and build our resiliency. It can help us hold and process the sorrow. However, I believe joy not only lends us the resiliency to remain actively engaged in the work for justice and anti-oppression, it's vital to the work itself. In the Book of Joy, Archbishop Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama highlight that we cannot force joy, and unlike happiness, we cannot fully experience it in an individualistic way. They argue that the way we heal our own pain is actually by turning to the pain of others. It's a virtuous cycle. The more we turn towards others, the more joy we experience. The more joy we experience, the more we can bring joy to others. The goal is not just to create joy for ourselves, but as the Archbishop poetically phrased it, it is to be a reservoir of joy, an oasis of peace, a pool of serenity that can ripple out to all of those around you. Joy is, in fact, quite contagious, as is love, compassion, and generosity. So being more joyful is not just about having more fun. We are talking about a more empathetic, more empowered, even more spiritual state of mind that is totally engaged with the world. End quote. We can't force joy, but we can invite it. And if you're looking for more ways to do that, you can find suggestions in our packet for this month. We can also shift our focus to notice and acknowledge when joy shows up. Similar to a gratitude journal, you can create a joy journal. You might find that there's more than you thought. My thinking on joy and justice work was shifted when I heard Julica Herman de la Fuente, a UU religious professional and anti-racism coach, speak at an event. And this was prior to COVID, so forgive me for not remembering exactly where or when or even what Julica said precisely. But what I left with, what I took from listening to her, was a question about how joy had shown up for me in my anti-racism work and anti-oppression work. It's not a question I'd ever considered before. And when I really started to engage with it, it kind of blew my mind. It's a question I still return to years later. I realized that through the anti-racism and anti-oppression work I've done over the year, I found joy in many places that would have been unlikely if I wasn't engaged in this work, including I got jobs and worked in projects that led to other interesting opportunities that created a much more rewarding and interesting career than I might have otherwise imagined, including being here with you today. I've gained a deeper understanding of how oppressive systems have operated in my own life, both externally and internally. And this has led to unpacking and releasing self-censoring, self-restricting, and self-sabotaging beliefs, which has left space for healing, connection, and joy. I've also gained a deeper understanding of how oppressive systems have operated to award me unearned privilege. And unpacking this has led me to work in solidarity to those who are members of other oppressed groups, which has expanded my insight. And most importantly to me, I've developed relationships and friendships with people that I would likely not have met otherwise. And I've developed a level of trust and integrity, an emotional depth, and a willingness to work through discomfort in all my relationships that has most definitely been informed by this work and has led to much joy. None of these things were goals or expectations when I engaged in justice work, nor did I see it as part of the work when I began. Though I have since come to see working on my own healing and self-knowledge, as well as building authentic relationships, an ongoing and integral part of the work. In addition to the joys that come from engaging in justice work, joy can be resistance in itself, particularly in the face of oppression and injustice, which takes aim at our humanity and tries to make our worlds fearful and small. Experiencing and expressing joy is a very powerful act of resistance. I've seen this showing up in oppressed groups in all kinds of places and all kinds of creative ways. And I'm seeing echoes of it in Canada right now. With the political attacks aimed at us here, there has been an increased pride and joy in being Canadian that I haven't witnessed in my 22 years of being in Canada. Elbows up is not an expression I'd heard before the last couple of weeks. And it's easy to see anti-racism and anti-oppression work as uncomfortable and difficult. It is both at times. It can be heartbreaking. And it can easily feel overwhelming and never-ending. I've been engaged in this work for over 30 years, and in many ways, I still feel like a beginner. Changes in my social location, changes of our understanding of oppression and diversity, And engaging in more complex situations means that the context is dynamic. So much is internalized and unspoken. There's always new learning, and there's never a way to engage that's 100% right. I can never be sure I'm right. Even the whole concept of right is questionable. And sadly, though the context is continuously shifting and changing, there is no end to oppression in sight. It is true that it's difficult. It's true that you will be uncomfortable at times if you genuinely engage with this work. And it's true if you focus primarily in what is challenging and overwhelming, it is extremely difficult to make this work feel sustainable. Here I find the Jewish saying attributed to Rabbi Tarfon helpful. You're not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. If we accept that this is not a project we can complete, but something we will engage in for our lifetime. If we accept it's not something we can do alone, but we need the insight and support of others with diverse perspectives and lived experiences, our expectations are different. If we create a love-based and joy-centered movement for change, we are more likely to create a movement that is vibrant, radically inclusive, multicultural, intergenerational, sustainable, and inspiring. If we focus our attentions on the joys that resistance bring us without denying the challenges, and center joy in the planning of the justice work that we are involved in, we will create more resistant hearts and bolder actions in our work for collective liberation. May it be so.
Let's just take a moment to reflect on those wonderful words we just heard. And now it's time to sing again. Oh, we give thanks. And please feel free to harmonize. Sylvia is going to read our closing words.
May whatever gatherings or activities we engage in this Sunday afternoon help restore us, our connections to one another, our sense of hope, beauty, and fun in this world, our deep knowing that we have to take care of ourselves and each other with love and joy if we are to soulfully survive the world's, and that word, I don't know that word, but I think it's mayhem.
Mayhem, yes.
Mayhem. So I'll read that sentence one more time. Our deep knowing that we have to take care of ourselves and each other with love and joy if we are to soulfully survive the world's mayhem.
Carrie says everyone's invited to sing along with her postlude, which is What a Wonderful World. One of Carrie's greatest hits.
I see trees of green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So please join us for coffee and tea and conversation.